Hello dear creatives, welcome to another interesting online tutorial. My name is Adiola and today I'm going to teach you how to make a very beautiful turban design. And I love this turban because it has the braid, it has the braids, it has the twist, and it also has a beautiful side flower at just beside the twist and the braid. Now in this video tutorial, you're going to learn how to make a twist. You're going to learn how to make a braid, and also you will learn how to make a beautiful fabric flower that you can use to embellish any other type of turban just as you wish. Now here are the materials required to make this project. I have my metallic fabric right here, and this fabric is so beautiful and I love it just because of the shine. And just so you know, it's also a stretchy fabric, and you need 1.5 for this because you're going to need your base, your band, you're going to cut out your braids, you're going to cut out your twist, and you're also going to cut out the piece for your fabric flower. Okay, and you need your measuring tape, of course, to take your measurements. You need your matching thread and hand sewing needle, and you also need your felt, or you can call this wadding as in WADDING, or some people call it breast pad, but for those of us who are in diaspora, it's called felt. And we have different texture of wadding or felt. This is the soft one in particular, so you can go ahead and look out for the soft wadding. And I have my scissors right here for cutting. I have my marking chalk, and your embellishments is ultimately optional. You can decide to embellish with gems and stones. As it is right now, I'm not currently sure if I'm going to use this, but you can go ahead and just attach your brooches. I'm actually going to attach a brooch to this. It's not close to me right here, but I'm going to show you as we go on in this tutorial. So I have my stones right here, and you're going to be attaching your stone with the B7000 glue. So quickly, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to be cutting out, don't forget this turban has the band. It's going to have a round front band. It has a band, it has a base, it's going to have a twist, and also it's going to have a braid, and lastly it's going to have the fabric flower. So it's going to have like 3 different pieces which we're going to put together. And this is the first piece right here, which is the band, the round front band. And the measurement I have here right now is 11 inches. 11 inches is the width, that is how wide your band is going to be, although we are going to be pleating, which I'm going to be showing you the process in a while. But just go ahead and measure 11 inches for your width. And also I'd like to call your attention to the fact that you need to consider the stretchy part of your fabric for the length. Okay, this part is stretchy, this part right here is not stretchy. So you need to consider that when you are cutting your length. And your length is always the head circumference part, which is the part that goes to the round, to the forehead, that goes round your head. So please take note of that. It's very important, except if you're making another design that has to do with a non-stretch fabric. But for this, you're going to be closing it all up, and then you need to follow the measurement and also follow the stretchy parts as your band. So this is 11 inches right here, and the length of this fabric is 25 inches. So this fabric is 25 inches long and is 11 inches wide right here. So I have it just as it is, and what I'm going to do is quickly to form my pleats. For those of us who are already familiar with how to make auto-gele, this technique is going to help you. But if you are not familiar with that technique, I'm going to show you how to create your round pleats. Although some people will be wondering, why are we making the head circumference 25 inches? Is it that we no longer use 22? Is it that, what are we trying to do here? Okay, I'm going to explain. Now, we made it 25 inches, and it's going to be the same head circumference for our band as well. What we want to do is to put the excess as it is right now, and when we are ready to join the band and the base, we are going to cut the excess from the band. What we're actually going to work with is actually 22 inches head circumference, but leave the excess as it is right now. I'm going to show you how to go about it, you know, later in the video tutorial. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick one side of my fabric and fold it in by 1 inch right here, and then I'm going to do a straight stitch just at the tip right here, all the way straight down, so that when I turn this up, my stitch is going to be inward like that. So I'm going to do it on my sewing machine, and please note you need a weaving machine for knit finishing. If you don't have a weaving machine, just go ahead. I'm going to tell you when and where you are going to be weaving, but you can go ahead and just take it to a tailor shop nearby or somebody who has a weaving machine to help you in the weaving of your turban, because it gives your work a very spectacular look, and it makes it very beautiful in and out, and also very, very neat. So I'll go ahead, fold this by 1 inch. I'll do the straight stitch. When I'm done, I will show you how it looks like, and then I'll show you the other process of placing this our round front. Okay, so this is what I have right here. Can you see how it looks? Very neat. And if I turn this on the other side, this is what I have right here. So my stitch is going inwards, okay, by 1 inch, or you can also use 1.5 right here. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this, depending on how you're going to place this on the sewing machine. But what we are basically trying to do is to ensure that we fold this way to close up or to cover up the stitch right here. So I just pinch and I fold in this way on top of the other one. If you don't fold too much, if you fold this way, your stitch will still show and it will not look nice. You want the pleats to set, and also watch out for the spacing of your pleats. Ensure you have equal spacing. Now if I fold this like this on top of the other one, you can note the spacing right here, so that subsequent ones, when you fold, you can have the same spacing as well as the first one right here. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine right now, and just watch me as I go ahead and pleat this turban base, turban band rather. All right, welcome back. So now that I have my band ready, this is how it looks, and this is the back right here. Okay, so we have 4 pleats. The first one, the second, third, and fourth. So we have 4 pleats right there. And then to our base, I have 2 pieces for my base, and I'm going to show you the measurement because they are both the same measurement. And also, if your fabric is thick, because this metallic has 2 types, we have the thick one, and then we have the one that is soft. This is the soft one right here. So if you are using the thick one, you don't have to double it, okay? But even if you are using satin for your design, or you are using any soft fabric whatsoever, you can just go ahead and double it with the method I'm using in this class. And if you are using the thick fabric, probably you want to use scuba, I'm going to show you how to go about it as well. So for this right here, the width, that's the wideness, whatever you call it, is 14 inches. So it's 14 inches wide, and this right here is also 25 inches long. Is the same measurement with the band. So the base is 25 inches long in length and is 14 inches wide. Don't forget that the band is 25 inches long and is 11 inches wide. And like I said earlier, I need 2 pieces right here. And now let's go to the placement, because it's time for us to attach our base to the band right here. So now I'm placing the fabric on each other this way. This is the wrong side of the fabric, and this is the right side of the fabric. So I can place both on each other, and then just fold it into 2 equal halves, and then I notch. Notching means you are trying to get the midpoint. You can do this separately, but what I'm doing here is just to notch the 2 at the same time. Okay, just a little notch right there, and this is what I have right here, and then the same for the second piece right here. So I picked the first piece and I lay it flat on a plain platform, or the table, or the floor, wherever you're comfortable working with, and I lay it with the wrong side facing down right here. And then I pick my band just like this, and then I place my band. My band now has the right side and the wrong side. So I place my band with the right side facing the right side of the fabric right here, and this is what I have right here, although they are the same measurements. Okay, so they are going to be equal. So I place it this way, just as it is. Ensure that the edges are equal, and you can use your pin to hold it in place, just to be sure that you're having equal sides or equal edges. So a pin that way, so that is okay by me. So after pinning the right side to the right side, I'm going to place the second piece with the wrong side facing up. So what I'm basically doing is the fabric, the base is facing, like the right side of the base is facing each other right here. So the wrong side is facing down and the other wrong side is facing up. So right side to right side, and your band as well is right side facing down. And I'm going to go ahead and pin this down again, and also making sure that I have equal edges right there. Pin everything all down before you sew is very important, really important, so you can know what you are doing is absolutely correct. So I pin all the way down from one side to the other side right here, and then I'll go to the sewing machine and just do a straight stitch coming in by half or 1 inch, but ensure that you are picking the band inside this way. So what you're doing is you're sewing very close to the last plate. This is the last plate, so you're sewing very close. So it could be 1 inch for you, it could be ½ inch for you, but in the long run, just ensure you pick all these 3 pieces, 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do a straight stitch right here, and I'll show you how it looks like when I'm done. So this is my stitch right here, a straight stitch all the way down. And if I flip this open right now, this is what I'm going to have. I'm going to have the front side as well as the back side. Now, if you're using a thick fabric, and you're not using 2 pieces, because you don't have to, because it's going to be too heavy on the head. So this is what you're going to be doing. You're just going to attach your, this is not there, okay? So you're going, this is your 1 piece right here. You're going to attach your band to your base just like this, and then you're going to sew on it straight down, so that at the end of the day you're going to have just something like this. You're going to have something like this, okay, just like this. This will not be there, okay? All you're going to have is this band, the base, and this part right here, which you can just go ahead and easily weave on the weaving machine. But for us, we are having 2 pieces right here, and this is what we have readily made. So I'll put this aside because it's not yet time for us to close this up, because we're going to be attaching our braids and our twists at the back right here before we close it up. So let's go to the measurement of the braids and the twists. All right, so now I have another piece of fabric. Don't forget, we have done 2 pieces, which is the band and the base. Out of 5, we have done 2 already. So for the 3rd part right here is the twist and the braids. Now I'm going to be using the same measurement for the twist and the same measurement also for the braids. And for making your braids, you need 3 pieces of this fabric of this measurement, and also you will need another 2 pieces of the same measurement to make your twist. Now for this measurement right here is 6 inches, or is 7 inches long, okay, 7 inches long. You can make it 6 inches, 6 inches wide. You can make it 6 inches wide, but this is 7 inches wide, and the length of this fabric right here is 27 inches. So 27 inches long by 7 inches wide, and I need 5 pieces, 3 for my braids, the other 2 for the twist. And also you'll be cutting your wadding as well. Now the wadding will not be as long as your fabric, okay? Your wadding is going to be shorter, so that you will have leftover fabric on the side, because you don't want the fabric to be bulky, or you don't want your braid to be bulky all the way from side to side. So that is why you need to reduce the length right here. And the measurement of the wadding right here is 21 inches. 21 inches. So I've reduced it all the way. So 27 inches for the fabric and 21 inches length for the wadding, and your wadding is the same width with your fabric right here. I hope you get that. And I need 5 pieces. So this is one right here, and each one carries wadding, okay? So this is the second one that also has its own wadding right here, and then I have them all the way, and I have 5 pieces. So whatever I do to one, I do to the other 4. So I'm going to place this right now with the right side facing each other like this, okay, making sure that the edges are equal. You can use pin to secure, and then I'm going to do a straight running stitch coming in by 1/4 inch right here all the way down. Don't forget to leave opening on both edges right here, because you're going to need to turn this fabric inside out. So basically you're using the wadding to pad the fabric so that your braids or your twist is not laying flat on top of your turban. So I'll go ahead and do a straight stitch and do the same for the other 4 pieces, and then I'll show you how it looks like when I'm done. Now, before I go to the sewing machine, the reason why the measurement of my fabric is 27 inches long is because the braid will not get to the other end. I'm starting the braid from the one side of the back to the middle of the turban. If you want your braids or your twist to go from back to back, like all around the turban, you're going to increase your measurement. You can make it 35 inches or 36 inches. And because you need, by the time you braid or by the time you finish twisting, if you don't have excess length, you're going to discover that you have shorter length after braiding. So despite the fact that our head circumference is 22 inches, don't cut the fabric for your braids or for your twist the same as your head circumference, okay? Because by the time you twist and braid, it's going to be shorter. So despite the fact that this is going to go all the way through the half, like it's just going to stop halfway, it's not going through from here or from back to back, okay? Despite the fact that it's not going from back to back, we still have excess measurement more than our head circumference. We have 27 inches. We added 5 more inches. So by the time we braid, we'll have just enough to go from the back to where I want it to be, which is the midpoint of the turban, because the fabric flower is going to lay just by the side on the other parts of the head. So you can have excess and just cut it off, but it's better to have excess fabric than to have less fabric, because if you have less braids or fabric, you're going to have to start all over again. So I'll go to the sewing machine and then I'll do a running stitch and then I'll be back. Welcome back. So I've just joined all the edges, and don't forget, do not leave out this fabric part. Don't say because the wording didn't get to the end then you start from here. No, you need to start from the very edge right here, and then you finish up just at the tip or the other end right here. So I'm going to turn this inside out, which is very simple to make. So just flip it in and push it out this way. It's so easy, and whatever you do for one piece, you're going to do for the other 4. Don't forget that we are going to make use of 5 pieces, okay? So I'm trying to pull right here. So as I push inwards, I pull outwards, so that way you can easily turn this inside out. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this inside out just like that, so easy. And then when I'm done, I will show you how it looks like. All right, so I have turned all of these 5 pieces inside out, and can you see how bouncy it looks because of the effect of the wording that was placed inside? So looking so beautiful. So don't forget that I said I'm going to be needing 2 for my twists and 3 for my braids. And for each one, since I'm going to be using 3 to make 1 braid, which I'm going to be interweaving, okay, just like you're plaiting or you're braiding, I'm going to place this on the side right here. Just make sure that the stitched part is on the side, and make sure they are facing the same side, and I'm going to lay them on each other this way, and I'm going to sew on it. Now the reason why we made this part free of the wording is for you to be able to sew this way. Now if your wording gets to the end, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to sew on this whole 3 parts right here. It's going to be too thick. So I'll pin this down because I'm going to do a straight stitch just to secure these 3 pieces right here, just a straight stitch. And then for the ones which is the twist that requires 2 pieces right here, I'm going to place them also side by side, and then I'm going to pin because I'm going to also do a straight stitch right here. So I'll go ahead and do a straight stitch, and then I'll show you how it looks like when I'm done. So I just joined these 2 pieces to form a pair, and then the 3 pieces right here to form another piece I'm going to be using to make the braids. So I'm going to start with the braids right here. It's quite simple, but you need to get somebody to hold this down for you. But I'm just going to show you the pattern before I get somebody to hold it down while I finish up the rest. So it's so simple. I'm sure we are all familiar with braiding, but if you are not, just go ahead and, you know, divide it into 3, take one underneath, okay, and then the other one too underneath right here. Ensure that it's really tight, okay, and this is how I'm going to go ahead to braid, going under and over, under and over, under and over, under and over. This is not tight yet, so I'm going to get somebody to hold this for me while I finish this up till I get to the end. So when I get to the end with this same method, I'm going to show you how it looks like, and then we can proceed. This is what I have right here. This is much tighter than the one I was making before because I had help with somebody who held it down for me. So this is what I have, and I'm going to pin this in place. Ensure that you lay it flat, okay, that you lay it flat this way. I'm pinning this in place. Now you can use your sewing machine, but if this is too bulky for your sewing machine, you can just use your hand needle to tag this in place. But for me, I'm going to sew it straight down using my sewing machine, and then I'll be back. All right, so I'm back, and then I've just closed this place up. Can you see how it looks? And don't forget the former measurement of this, which is 25 inches, into 3 places for this braid. Now at the end of the day, after braiding this, I have 17 inches, okay, 17 inches minus this other part right here. So I have 17. Can you see that it has shortened, you know, after matting this? Now for the other 2 piece right here, before I go to the other 2 piece, I want to show you something. I have my dummy head right here, which I just pinned the back, okay, I just pinned this back to hold it down because I'm not yet closing up. And what I want to check is just how this braid is going to sit. And when I tried to place it in, it was my perfect size. Don't forget that I said I want it to be from the middle all the way down to the back of the ear, depending on where you want. If you want your braids to be on the right or on the left right here, it depends on you. So I just placed it, and it was looking really good, so I placed it here, okay, and then it was looking good. So this is the back right here, and it got to the middle, okay. Can you see how that looks? So it's my perfect sketch. All right, so now for the second one right here, I'm going to twist. Now this is another type of braid, so but this, you also need somebody to hold this down for you while you go all the way to twist it and hold it tightly. So this is what I'm doing because there's nobody to hold that part for me, so I have to hold it down, and then I'm just going to twist this, and this is what I'm going to have right here. So I'll go ahead and twist this, and I'll show you how it looks like when I finally stitch the other end right here. All right, so I have my twists right here, and it's very firm, okay. So this is what I have right here. Now as I was trying to arrange this, okay, you know, these 2 pieces are the same measurement. So while I tried arranging this on top of each other because I wanted the twist to be on top of the braid, I discovered that the twist was shorter than the braids, okay. And I'm going to extend this. I'm going to extend it by just joining a piece of fabric. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So this is what I want it to be, just like this, okay. And because this is not straight, it has to go round, so it's not enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a piece of fabric just like this. What you can do in your own case is just to extend the measurement of the one that is going to be on top. If you want the braids to be on top, that's fine, but I advise that the braid stays under because it's a little bit wider and it can carry this on top of it right now. If you try to place this on this, it's also nice. It's also going to give you another effect. So whatever it is you want to do, it's fine, but just make sure that the one that is going to be on top of it, you can add like 4 inches to your measurements. We measured 25 inches, right? You can make it 29 or 30 and just cut off the excess fabric when you are done. Okay, so I was just trying this out to see how it's going to look like. So I discovered that the one on top is shorter after trying to style this. So what I'm doing right now is just to measure 5.5, which is 5.5 inches by 7 inches, and I'm going to go to the sewing machine, fold it with the right side facing each other, and then I'm going to fold this first of all this way, okay, and then fold it with the right side facing each other and do a straight stitch right here, just for me to extend this part right here so that I can get to the back of my turban. So this is what I have right here. So I'm going to turn this inside out. This way, okay, and make sure that the sewn part is facing the mid part. Okay, I just placed it in the middle right here so that this can be my front part, and then I'm going to insert this part right here inwards. This is actually another way you can make your braid and then insert a piece of fabric just as it is right here, and then I'm going to sew on it straight down. Okay, I'm going to sew on it straight down, so you can pin it in place, but ensure that the sewn part is in the middle right here. So this is just a remedy for this that was shorter than the braids. Okay, so just extend yours while you are cutting by 4 inches or even 5 inches so that you can just cut off the excess. Now I also want to call your attention that many of the things that we see and we get carried away online are probably done, you know, by mistakes, and don't go about, you know, beating yourself that, oh, you're not up to this person. You can just do something and you might, you know, you might have little hitch and you might just decide to just do a remedial and it becomes a style. So what I'm doing now is I'm creating this design from my head, okay, and to see how it's going to turn out. And for the fact that this is shorter than this should not mean that I should just go ahead and throw it all away. You can always find a way to do a remedial for your project. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this right now, and then I'm going to show you how it looks like before we attach these two pieces together. Okay, so welcome back. I've extended this part right here. Can you see I just have an extra fabric just to tuck into the back of my turban, and now it's time for me to check how this will sit before I start to hand tag these two pieces together. Now you can get your dummy head right here, and don't forget, I don't want this braid to go from ear to ear. I want it to just be from one side because my bow, or I'm sorry, my flower is going to be on this other side right here. So I'm just doing my placement right now, and I want this to lay on top but not equally on this side. I want one side to be here this way. I want the braid to be on top. Now this is what I'm doing now is my embellishment. You can determine how you want it to be. It is up to you. What I'm going to be teaching you here is just the basics, how to go about the measurements, the tacking, the invisible tacking, and the braid making, the twist making, the finishing. But you still have the right to choose whatever embellishment or whatever style you want to create. You can do one twist, you can do two twists, you can do one braid, you can do two braids. You can make yours to be equal like this. It's fine by you, but what I'm doing right now, I'm just being creative, which I believe you can also do better than I'm doing right here in this video. So I'm placing mine this way, Okay, and I'm checking because I want you to start from the mid part right here. It has even passed the mid part. This is the mid part. Okay, but let's just leave it at that. So I'm placing it, and then this way he goes to the back. Can you see how it looks? So I like it like this, and this is how I'm going to be tacking. So before I tack, ensure that you have your pins in place, and then you can pin this down. Now for this part that was open, just fold it in a little bit. Okay, place it, and then you can pin. So all the parts that will be tacked, I'm going to pin all of them in place. Okay, I'm going to pin them in place. It's good for you to use your pins to hold them down so that you can know what you are doing. So I'm just pinning down, and I'm going to be tacking those points. It's easier for you to tack at this point than after attaching to your dummy head. It's going to be much more difficult. The only part where you can attach while your dummy head is after you have tacked these two pieces together, and then it's time to attach this as it is on the turban base. And basically we are going to be using the dummy head just to check how it's going to sit and pin in place, but ultimately we are still going to remove it before we tack. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just pinning this down. All right, and this is what I have right here. Okay, so this is what I have right here. So I'm going to be tacking this down, and I have my needle right here and my thread, which I'm going to be using to do my tacking. And the tacking method is invisible tacking. Please just go ahead and watch me as I do the tacking part. right, welcome back, and this is what I have right here. Okay, and this is the back, and this is my extra band. So I just tacked the edge of the braids together into one, and I have just one piece. Now the reason why this will not go to the back of your turban is bulky. You won't be able to sew it. So this is just what will go into the back of the turban, and then we can cut the excess. All right, so I'll put that aside. I'm back to our base because it's time for me to attach this piece to the base. This is the wrong side of the base, and as it is, I'm just going to place it with the wrong side facing up, which means that this is the right side facing each other this way. And then I'm going to mark 21.5, or you can make it 22 inches, okay, but 21.5 is 10.5. And then I'm going to just go ahead and mark your head circumference. If it is 23, mark it out. If it is 22, mark it out, but unfold, ensure that you get your accurate head circumference. So you can use 22. 22 is the general head circumference, but because I'm going to be wearing this, I want it to be a little bit tight, and that is why I'm making it 21.5. So I'm just to come in by that 0.5, so I can ultimately have 21 inches at my head circumference. And I'm going to be sewing from here down to this point, just the band part. I'll do a straight stitch right here. Okay, just do a straight stitch from here down to this part right here. And usually what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew when I sew from here to this part, which is the band part, I move a little bit outward, because this outer part is going to make your turban drop at the back. It is very essential because you don't want your turban to be flat at the back. So what if you are wearing hair extension, or you want to wear a turban lift? It won't fit, and the fitting of a turban is when it drops behind your neck. Okay, so straight from here to here, and then I navigate towards my right hand side to the open parts right here. Now I'm not going to be sewing all the way down. Okay, I'm not sewing all the way down, because what I intend to do is to sew straight down, but I need to fix this inside here, and that is why I'm leaving this space right here. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to sew from here to here, and I will stop right here. Now I'm measuring the width of what I'm going to be fixing is 2 inches right here, so I'll just leave 2.5 inches from here to here. Now if you don't want to fix this tip at the band part because it's bulky, it will not sew. All right, except you have a heavy duty machine, it will not sew. So avoid the band part. Let your piece start from after the band right here. It's much more easier to sew. Okay, but I'll put this aside. But first of all, I'm going to sew from here to here, and then navigate to this part, and then measure. I measure 2 inches, so from here I'm going to be measuring 2.5 inches this way. So I'm going to sew from here all the way down this way, close it up, and leave this part open. Just this 2.5 should be left open. So close this up all the way down here, leave this part open, and sew all this part. Make sure that you close it up. All right, so this is what I have right here, and at this point you can now cut off your excess part, and then you can weave. If you don't have a weaving machine, now is the time for you to take it to where it can be weaved for you. Okay, and this is my opening right here. This is the opening part. So I'm just cutting my excess only from the band. Okay, only from the band. And then you can just go ahead and weave the rest. So if I turn this inside out, this is what I'm going to have right here. okay, and my opening at the back. So now I'm just going to place this part inside. You can place this also on your dummy head for you to determine how you want it to look. So just place it on your dummy head. So it's sitting inside, so I just placed it inwards this way and I pull it out. Okay, so as it says, you can pin. You can pin this part down, but don't sew just yet, because what you are doing is you are still styling to see if it needs any adjustments. If you don't have a dummy head, you can go ahead and wear this and just use your head to style to see how it's going to look like. So I've pinned that part down to assume that I have sewn it so that I can see how it's going to look. Okay, and then this goes to the top right here, and this is what I have. Okay, what you want to do is you want to ensure that there is not too much space in between right here, that it's tight enough for you. At the same time, you don't want to make it too close such that you cannot wear this. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going to take my office pins and I'm going to pin it down and wear it on my dummy head, and if it needs any adjustment, I'm just going to loosen it from this back part until I'm satisfied. So first I'm going to start pinning from this edge right here. I can just pin this down. Let me just pin this down right there. Okay, then I'll continue to pin all the way down because I'm going to be tacking. Okay, I'm going to tack. So this is how I'm going to pin down all the way, and then when I'm done, I'll show you how it looks like. All right, so what I did was I just tacked. I pinned rather. I have not tacked at all because you need to check. So I tacked here, pin here. I pinned all the way down. Can you see my pins there? So I just pinned all the way, and this part is still tucked in, and I still pinned it inside because I'm going to first of all tack all of this part, and then I'm going to adjust any part here. So this part that I tucked in is going to be the last part I'm going to tack. So I'm going to start to tack from here all the way down to this part using the same method I used in tacking this one right here. So just watch me as I tack. And so this is how it looks after tacking. Now you can tack the back if you want. You can tack the back if you want, but if you don't want to tack it, it does not change anything. It's still going to remain firm. So I'm going to turn this part inside out because I need to cover up this part. So I'll take this to the sewing machine right here, and then I'm just going to do a straight stitch. Don't forget that I jumped this part and I started from here all the way down. So now it's time for me to properly do a straight stitch to close it up, and then I cut the excess fabric right here. All right, so this is how it looks right here. I have just covered it up, and if I turn this inside out right now, this is what I have. Okay, I have sewn this part. So I'm going to go ahead and pleat the back part, starting from immediately after the other piece which I just inserted, and I'm just going to pleat in and out this way using my thread. And this thread is very thick, just to hold this in place. So I'm pleating this. Just go ahead and pleat all the way straight down and until you get to this part. So it's so easy. I'm sure you're already familiar with pleating your turban depth by now. It's so very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and pleat this way till I get to the end, and when I'm done I will show you how it looks like. So after pleating it to the end, I'm going to pull just like this. Okay, I'm pulling like this, and then I'm going to tie a knot right here just to secure this bunch part right here. So I'm tying a knot, and I'm going to tie the knot one more time, and then you can go ahead and cut your thread. So this is how it looks, and I'm going to turn it inside out for you to see the back. This is how the back looks right here. Okay, and the back is dropping because of the extra length of the back part. Okay, so this is so far we've gone for the turban. We have attached the braid, the twist, the band, and also the base. Now quickly let's go to the other part which has the the fabric flower. Okay, so now I have my 3 pieces that I'm going to be using to make my fabric flowers, and it has 1, 2, 3, and this is wider and longer. The next one is shorter than this, and it's shorter in length as well. Same for the third one. So these 3 pieces are not the same measurement, so I'm going to be starting from the biggest. I need 3 pieces because I want 3 steps of my flower. So you can make yours 4 or 5, and you can also increase the length of your flower depending on how big you want it to be. So right now the width of this right here is 7.5 inches by 26. So right here the length of this is 26 inches. So 26 inches long by 7.5. And the next one I reduced both the width and the length. So the next one right here is 6.5. I reduced it by 1 inch. Don't forget the previous one was 7.5. I removed 1 inch by the width and also 1 inch by the length. So if this is 6.5, the length of this is going to be 25 inches. So 25 inches right here. And I have the third piece right here, which is also 1 inch shorter than the previous one. So this is 5.5 inches. It's 5.5 inches by 23 inches. I reduced 2 inches because it's a small one and I don't want it to be, I just want it to be a little extra small than the previous one. So you can just go ahead and reduce 1 inch as well if you want to follow the sequence of the first and the second. Okay, so at this point I'm going to place each of this piece with the right side facing each other like this, with the weak parts facing the weak parts this way. This is a very simple flower you can make to embellish your turban. You can use this ordinarily, you can also use this on your fascinator base as well. So I'm going to just stitch on it, coming in by 1/4 inch. Just do a straight stitch right here to seal this open part up. Okay, and I'll do the same for the other 2 pieces. So as soon as I'm done joining these 3 pieces, I'll show you how it looks like, and then we can proceed. So now that I've sewn this part right here, this is how it looks. It's covered. Okay, and the same for the second one, and then the third one right here. So what I'm going to do for one is the same thing I'm going to do for the other 2 pieces, and I'm going to fold it to the right side this way, and making sure that I fold it inward so that I can have the 2 raw edges facing each other like this. And then I take my needle and my thread, and then I start to pleat from the edge right here all the way round. It's quite simple. Just go ahead and pleat with your needle and thread, but ensure that your thread is thick enough. Like this is into 6 lines, so it's thick, so that you avoid the issue of while you are trying to you know, pull the pleats together and it's just cutting, to avoid you starting all over again. So I'm going to go ahead and pleat this all the way till I get to this end where I started from, and I'll show you how it looks like. So this is how it looks right here, and I've just gotten to where I started from. All you need to do is to pull tightly, and then you can tie a knot right here. You can tie this once, just like I've done, or you can also tie it 2 times, just to ensure that it's properly secured. Now the width of your fabric will determine how wide your flower will be. Okay, so you can increase it. This is 7.5. You can make it 8 inches, you can make it 9 inches. The wider your width, the bigger your flower. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this thread off and do the same, just like I have done to these other 2 pieces, and then I'll show you how to couple this beautiful flower before attaching to our turban base. Alright, so I have these 3 pieces right here already pleated, and I'm going to start tacking them on each other one after the other. If you try to put them together and tack these 3, it's going to be too much stress, so I advise you do it one at a time. So this is what I have right here. This is the biggest, and the one coming after it. Take note of that sewn part. Okay, this sewn part, make sure that they are all together so that they can all be at the back of the turban, so you don't have the sewn parts showing in front. So I'm putting them on top of each other, and I'm going to start from inside right here, just beside the bulky part. If you try to sew from bulky part to bulky part, it's going to be too difficult for you to pull your needle. So I'm just starting from a more softer place right here, and then I'm going to pull and take it back inwards and bring it out, put it through another soft part of the one that is staying at the bottom like that, and pull it up to the back right here. Pull, there you go, and then in and out until I finally attach these 2 pieces. This is going to take a little bit of your time, but you need to ensure that you do this to make sure that you properly attach these flowers together. Okay, can you see how it looks? So I'm going to go ahead and attach this all the way down, just going in and out, in and out. I'm going to try it one more time for you to see what I'm doing. Just put it through inward, bring it out from the first layer, and then pull it through the second one beneath, and then pull it right to the back just to secure. Okay, and you repeat the same process from the back to the middle right here, and then from the middle upwards to the front, just like that. And this is how I'm going to repeat the process until I'm done, and when I'm done I will show you how it looks like. So now I've secured these 2 pieces together. Okay, can you see how they look? So beautiful. And it's time for me to attach the 3rd one. So I'm going to be attaching the 3rd one to the 2nd one right here. Bear in mind that the sewn part has to correlate with the other sewn parts of the two pieces right here, so that you can know where goes to the back and where stays in front. So I'm laying it down this way, still holding it in place, and then I'm going to start to insert my needle this way, in and out, the same method I used to attach the first two. So I have a little bit of tangle right there, so I'm just going to take it off, and then I think I'll just go ahead. So I will insert my needle in between and bring it out from the second layer. If your fabric is not too thick, just like mine, you can go ahead and just put it through all 3 roses. But if it is thick, just like what I have right here, you can just make do with the first 2 layers. So I'm going to continue to attach this right here. If you're already a fashion designer, this shouldn't be a problem, but if you're new to what we are doing, just go ahead and follow the steps and you will get the same results. It's just that your creativity will determine how beautiful your outcome will look like. So I'm still going ahead to attach this way, all the way from the middle back to the top layer right here. Okay, and this is what I'm going to do all the way round. Okay, can you see? This is the second layer right here. So I'm going to continue to attach this all the way down, round, and when I'm done, I will show you how it looks like. So now that I'm done, this is where I ended my stitch, and I'm just going to tie a knot in between right here, just to hide my final or my thread knot. So just tie a knot that way, nice and easy, and then you can cut off your excess thread. So this is what I have right here. Okay, and you can just go ahead and smoothen it all the way. Right, so now it's time for us to attach this beautiful fabric flower to our turban base. All right, so we have the turban cap right here, the base and our flower. So it's time for me to couple these 2 pieces. Now you need to put this on your dummy head for you to determine where you want your flower to sit. For me, I like it to sit on the side right here, and I marked where I want this part, this mid part, to lay on for me to get my desired result. So you need to do the same. Place it on your dummy head, or place it on your head if you don't have a dummy, and just check where you want this flower to sit. And after checking, you mark that point, you bring it down, and then you pin to that same point. So this is what I have right here. Ensure that you check on the dummy head before you place your flower. Okay, so what we want to achieve is to cover up any part right here, just to cover up with the flower, and also to embellish this other side right here. So this is my part that I've marked here with my fabric chalk, and I'm going to place my flower on top of it right there, just like this. And I want it to be on the side. You can make your flower to face the front side like this. Anyhow you want it is up to you, and I'm just placing it right here to the side, and then I'm going to use my pins. I'm holding it firmly, and I'm going to use my pins to hold them down to where I'm going to be tacking it down. So it makes your work much more easier when you pin down before you start to tack. So I've tacked that point down, and then I'm going to tack here as well. I'm going to tack from the underneath right here. After pinning all of this down, ensure that you have properly, pinned to the right points. check on your dummy head before you start to tack, so that you can make adjustments before you tack, because once you finish tacking, it might be a little bit difficult for you to start, you know, the process all over again. So I'm just using my pins to hold them down in strategic points where I'm going to be tacking both front and back. And as it is, I'm only going to be tacking the flower, the one on the first base right here. That's the one at the bottom. Okay, this bottom rows right here is what I'm going to be tacking down to my turban base. Some parts will go on the twist and the braids, some parts will go to the back right here, some parts will have to be tacked to the base in front, some will also have to be tacked right here. So I'm going to style this again to check if I've properly attached it the way I want it to look like, and then we go to the tacking part. All right, so I've pinned it down the way I want it to look like, and then I'm just going to tack. So just watch me as I tack invisibly.
So this is how it looks right here, and I love the way it looks on my dummy head right now. So you can embellish this middle part with whatever it is you want. I have brooch right here. I have this lace part that I can just cut this nice circle and just cover up. But for me, I can use this brooch just to cover it all by pinning. Just open the pin behind right here. You know, pin it down just like that. You know, you can pin down. Wow, it's raining. Okay, so just pin down this way. Yeah, and there you go. So this is our beautiful ready to wear caffeinator right here, and this is also a turban because caffeinator is not too different from turban. So thank you so much for joining in. Don't forget to ask me your questions. Go ahead and submit your practical. I will be here to answer all your questions, and don't forget to check our YouTube channel for free tutorials at Alio Bairobi. Please follow our Instagram page at Alio Bairobi as well. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing your beautiful practical. Bye for now.